Hey friends, so I want to share with you today what I think is probably the most important thing I've ever done in my business ever. So I started Scentsy in 2008, um, and so I'm working on almost 12 years now. So I want to share some really important things with you. So when I began, um, I was building my customer base, obviously, through parties and through neighbors and through friends. And I had this idea in my head that if I was kind to them and if they bought from me, I would give them a freebie every once in a while and I would give them samples. And I had an idea that if I was good at customer service, that they would come back and buy more, right? Which sometimes they did, but the problem is most of the time they didn't. Unfortunately, it took me a very, very long time in my business to learn this. And that's why I want to share some data with you today and some ideas so that you don't make the same mistake that I did. So, several years into my business, I was looking at probably, it's scary to say, probably 8 years into my business, 7, 8 years into my business, I started thinking, you know what? It's tough. I struggled every single month to get what I needed to get to make it by. Either anywhere, my normal sales were anywhere from 500 to maybe 1,000 during the fall months. Maybe I hit 2,000 sometimes, but I was not a big seller ever. It was a struggle over and over. Every single month we start at zero. And so it was a struggle to get to that 500 every single month. And so I finally figured out, okay, I've got to change something. I've got to do something different. And so what did I do? I decided to add snail mail into my business. Okay, I'm going to take the customers that I have and I'm going to gather them all together and I'm going to start doing mail because we had moved around the country several times. Not all of my customers were where I lived. And so I thought, okay, mail will reach them best. And so I started a couple different mail campaigns and I did what I could afford. And it was small to begin with because I only had a handful of customers and a handful of customers' addresses. So I started doing snail mail and I started with a plan that I was going to do 2 mailers a year. In the spring, I did a summer catalog mail out with samples. And in the fall, I did the same thing with fall catalog mail out and samples. Okay. So that was year one, and I've continued every year since. And every year since, I've added. So now I do 18 to 20 mailing campaigns a year. I do my spring summer catalog and fall winter catalog. I do mail every single month with the warmer in the month and the scent of the month. And then I also do thank you mail for every single online order that comes in ever. I also do a summer collection mailer, a fall winter mailer, and then I do some fun postcard mail or fun mail or incentive mail for my customers several times a year too. So that's where I'm at now. But the most important part that you guys have seen probably all the ideas, all the cute things that you can put together. This month I just grabbed this today with little bumblebees on it to add to my fun mail. I made these to go out with my spring summer mail. But I don't think ideas are what you guys need. I think what you need is to see the value or the difference that this can make in your business. So with all the mail that I'm doing, I want to show you guys the importance of follow-up. So this is my online orders, and hopefully you can see this and it's not too crazy backwards. So the numbers really don't matter because you can see on the graph what happened. So this right here is 2016, and then in 2017, so I said 2016 is where I started my snail mail, and this goes back to 2011. I started in 2008, but the workstation doesn't have data back that far. So this is my data. And then in 2017, it more than doubled. So we're looking at online orders alone on this graph. And you can see this is 2020, and you can see that 4 months in, I'm already, almost more than halfway of where I was last year. So it's continuing to climb. And I'll tell you, the difference between here and here is this year I had a really big fundraiser that had a lot of online orders. So that's why there was a little dip here, which was totally expected because it more than doubled this year. So online orders alone from the time I started my snail mail in 2016 have gone crazy through the roof. People want to see paper in their hands. They want to smell the scents, especially if they're not close to you and they can't do that. So there's so much value in snail mail. Mail is expensive. Start small. The more your orders grow, keep adding to it because there's such value in that. What else happened? So in 2018, in May of 2018, we launched, or Scentsy partnered with what is now called Amy. And when that started, I snagged hold of it because I didn't have a follow-up system for my local customers. I didn't have a text system. I didn't have an email system. I had tried MailChimp and things like that unsuccessfully in the past. So I grabbed hold of that in May of 2018 and I ran with it. And I've been using it ever since. The results have been crazy amazing. You can see even from 17 to 18 online orders more than doubled, and I think that had a lot to do with it just continuing to follow up. Now, am I a advocate or salesperson for Amy or Maven? No, not really. I think the point is having a system. Whether you want to have a binder, whether you want a card index with postcards, whether you want sticky notes all over the wall of your office, an Excel sheet, whatever it is, find a system that works for you and use it like your life depends on it, because your business absolutely depends on it. You must follow up. It's so important. I also want to show you really quick, I have more data for those of you who love data. This is my annual sales. And again, the numbers aren't there because the numbers don't matter. I'm not, and I hadn't been for the first, 8-9 years of my business, a big seller. I didn't have customers that really stuck to me. I had some local or loyal customers and some didn't. We've moved around a lot, so that's been hard for me. But you can see here, so this is 2010 and 2011 all the way through. This is 2016 here, and you can see the huge jump in annual sales. So this is 2017, 18, 19, and then 4 months into 2020, my annual sales have already beat, almost 5 years of my business, and we're not even halfway through the year. So you can see, and this is 2018 right here, where I began follow up with Maven. So Maven, Amy, I always forget, either one, Amy. Anyways, this is where I began using that type of follow-up. This is where my snail mail really kicked in. And you have to remember, you have to be consistent with that type of thing. So if I had looked at 2016 and said, okay, you know what? Let me show you the online orders again. You know what? It's not really working. It's not really doing anything. And just quit. It wouldn't have worked. But I just continued with it a couple years in, and then I started adding more to it once I saw that it would start working. But you have to be consistent. People love when stuff hits their mailbox. People love to get that text that says, thank you so much for your order. But remember always, be genuine, be kind, be thankful. We've been talking a ton about just sharing what you do with Scentsy. And you can do the same thing in your follow-up, but be thankful, be genuine with them. Thank them for the order, but look and see what they ordered and thank them. Hey, thank you so much for ordering that kindness warmer. I absolutely love it, and I know that you will too. Rather than, thank you for your online order and something wrote. Make sure and use those templates, but make them your own. If you don't say hey, say hello. If you don't say hello, say what's up, but be you. And that's the most important part. So hopefully data-wise, numbers-wise, and a little bit of my story convinces you that follow-up is absolutely the lifeblood of your business. If you're struggling now to hit that 500 so that you can continue to grow your team and continue to make those small bonuses off of them, this is where it's at. It's in the follow-up. It is so much easier to continue to care for and nurture the customer base you have than to find new customers. Take it from me because I learned the hard way and I don't want you to. So if you have questions, ask your leader or reach out to me. I would love to help. I hope the data was helpful. I'm excited, you guys, about the future and everything that we're doing now. And I hope that you have a follow-up system. Find one that works for you and run with it because it is crazy important. Bye, guys.